Elliotte Friedman, man. I absolutely love this individual. Now, we've been making a whole bunch of videos about Jack Eichel, and I know that it can get kind of old seeing the same thing pop up again, but this is the kind of thing, man, when you have a big story, a big player, an overall huge situation in sports, when you get updates, people are going to talk about it. And as a result, when the insiders like Elliotte Friedman provide you updates, that is when the conversation progresses forward, and that's what we're doing here. I get that sometimes the content can get repetitive, but hey, there are updates, so that's why we're going to make this video over here. Today we're talking about Jack Eichel and the Buffalo Sabres. He's the guy that is a very good hockey player. No real other way to say that other than he is just very, very good. He will be one of the best in the league as he continues throughout his career, or that's what we hope, because he wants neck surgery, and the impact of this neck surgery is unforeseeable. No NHL player has ever done it, and as a result, you have yourselves what was Elliotte Friedman a while ago talking about how he feels the Buffalo Sabres just do not want the situation and how they might punt it to another team. And then there were a whole bunch of arguments and questions brought up as to whether or not Jack Eichel, if he was traded, would succumb to a new team's wishes of him not getting the surgery. It's a big thing right now, this surgery, and it's kind of the entire reason we're even having this Eichel debacle in the first place. Well, of course, compiled with the years and years of losing that the Buffalo Sabres have done with Eichel. And so now we go over onto the Instigators Podcast again. This is on the WGR 550 radio show in Buffalo. Elliotte Friedman made himself an appearance, and what WGR 550 did was they tweeted out the quotes as they were happening live. This happened yesterday, and because they were coming out in quick succession, everybody was like, okay, whoa, those are some bombs that Friedman is dropping about the situation. Let's just go over onto Twitter and we can read the entire thing. I will leave a link in the description to the audio hit if you want to go ahead and check that out yourself. But Elliotte Friedman starts off this hit by saying that he has heard a lot of trade interest revolving around Sam Reinhart. Okay, that's not new. That's not something that I think is surprising to anybody. Sam Reinhart is another forward on this team, RFA. He's got himself a contract extension he has to go through, but the problem is he just had his best season ever this year. Also regarding the Buffalo Sabres, he talks about the LA Kings and Jack Eichel. He says if John Hoven writes that the Kings are out on the Sabres captain, then there's a greater than 0% chance that that's exactly what's happening. If he's writing it, someone is very legitimately telling him that. Now, I don't know if that's actually correct. I know he's trying to say that because John Hoven is writing that the Kings are not going to be in on Eichel anymore, that you should believe that. But I just don't know if Friedman saying it in the way that he did is 100% accurate. There's a greater than 0% chance that that's exactly what's happening. Does that not mean the complete opposite? I don't know, the way he phrased it was just really weird, but you get what he means. Continuing on with Jack Eichel, Friedman says this: no one will go on record and say it, but there are teams that agree with the Sabres medical staff on Eichel's recovery plan, and there are teams that don't. Okay, so that means that when it comes to the surgery, Eichel wants to get it, the Sabres don't want him to get it. There are other teams around the NHL that are on both sides of the fence. I know that might not seem like that surprising of a point to make, but I think it really does need to be mentioned at the very least, because when it comes to Jack Eichel potential destinations, there are some teams that would very willingly just go out there and allow him to do what he wants to do. But if he goes to a team, let's say the New York Rangers, completely no correlation there, just pulling a name out of a hat, and let's say they're on the same boat as the Sabres. Okay, no, we don't want you to do this, Eichel. What's gonna happen then? Like, we already discussed that, in my opinion, I don't think Eichel is the kind of guy to succumb to a brand new team telling him the same thing that Buffalo was telling him that they want him to do. We know Eichel from his personality. He doesn't really seem like that kind of guy to succumb to new environmental pressures. He knows he's really good. He knows he's all this and all that. He knows what he's worth to a hockey team, and we know what exactly it is that he wants. He wants to win all the time. He's a super competitive athlete, which is why I don't really think he's the kind of guy to, if he gets traded, all of a sudden be like, okay, you guys don't want me to do this? Okay, I'm not going to do it then. Even though the Sabres said the same thing, but I ignored their request and I still wanted to do it anyway. You see how it doesn't really work here. Okay, continuing on with our little Friedman Twitter thread here. At the end of the day, I don't think the Sabres want to bring back Jack Eichel. They want to move on. And this quote was the one that went kind of viral. It was retweeted a whole bunch. Everybody and their mother was talking about this quote here because Friedman is just laying it down on the line. I think they're done. That's it. I think the Sabres legitimately just don't want to deal with this anymore. And it's really, really funny when you you take all the context we have, the surgery, the years of failure, the draft picks and all that. You throw that all out the window and you just think. Jack Eichel's their captain. And it's to a point now where Sportsnet's top analyst is going on to WGR Buffalo Radio and he's saying, yeah, they're done with their captain, all this stuff has gotten so out of hand that they just don't want to deal with it anymore. The previous quote that he used was, he feels like the Sabres might want to just punt the situation to another team and have them deal with this entire thing, with the neck thing and the surgery that Eichel wants to get done, that which has never been done on an NHL athlete before, nor does it even guarantee a proper recovery in the way that NHL teams would want. It's just crazy, man, thinking about how this was the straw that broke the camel's back. This surgery, this injury, this just super long and dragged out part of the season. Remember when Eichel was initially taken out of the lineup? We all thought he was going to get traded that day. Oh, he is out for precautionary reasons or whatever it was. We all thought within the next 24 hours he would have been gone. But no, he stuck around. Turned out to actually be a very legitimate injury, that in which he has not recovered from yet. The Sabres apparently just don't want to deal with it anymore. They want to move on. Friedman says that people are telling Sabres GM Kevyn Adams, you've got to trade Eichel, trade him now. Adams is saying, not so fast though, in order to create a trade market. Okay, I mean, that's not terrible. Everybody kind of knows he's in this position. Everybody kind of knows about the surgery. Everybody knows that Eichel is legitimately at his all-time low when it comes to his value. He has never been this down in the dumps for his trade value. If you were to trade Jack Eichel today, you're getting so much less that if you traded Jack Eichel a year ago, or 2 years ago even. This is absolutely the worst case scenario here for Buffalo, and Friedman is saying that Kevyn Adams is trying to build that market back up by not trading him just yet, so any other team can go out there and be like, okay, no, we want him. Oh, we want him. Bidding wars, right? That's how it works in business. Friedman also finally says that Kevyn Adams said he was taking his time with a coaching hire, and that was last week. We're getting closer to the Rangers and Blue Jackets hiring their coaches. I'm curious to see how those hirings affect the Sabres. So that's all we have on Eichel. Friedman, of course, you can listen to the audio hit if you want to do that. I will leave a link in the description to the Instigators show. But man, sucks, eh? This is kind of what I was talking about earlier with the Jack Eichel stuff, that sure, even though none of this information is necessarily surprising, it still is an evolution in the story that we have already had and have been chronicling the past few months. Therefore, this video over here, I get that some people might be upset that we made it. Lego, you can't just make a video every time you see some new tweets coming out, but I mean, come on, it's Elliotte Friedman. If he's given some updates out there, why can't we talk about it over here? So talk to me in the comments what you think about this entire Eichel situation. Are you surprised as I am to see that it's not the Stanley Cups, it's not the losing, it's not the years of failure in itself that's causing Eichel to potentially get traded. It's this gosh darn surgery. Sure, all the other stuff we mentioned were added layers in this entire concoction of scenarios over here, but man, I didn't realize that an injury would be the reason why he ultimately gets traded. The final nail in the coffin for Jack Eichel as the captain of the Sabres. Talk to me in the comments what you think about all this stuff. I hope you enjoyed this. This is Josh Rolls in the 99. And bye.